In today's video, I'm gonna explain how you go from looking like this to looking like this. What is the difference between lean or 10% body fat and shredded 5% body fat? Hey guys, what's going on? This is Paul Ravella from ProPhysique.com. In today's video, I'm gonna break down the idea of going from a lean physique somewhere in that 10 to 12% body fat range where you look really good to shredded, where you look insane and you might not even look good in your clothes anymore, but you'll look really good for those Instagram pictures. But the process of going from lean to shredded is very unique. Now, I've been doing this for more than a decade. I've competed myself, as you see by the pictures here, and I'll show you some of my clients along the way. So the real goal here is for me to explain to you guys how you get from lean to shredded. And today's question comes from right here on my Instagram direct message. So if you have questions you'd like to send me, go to Instagram, send me a direct message. I'll try to answer them either in the message or in a video in this format. So let's first talk about what the difference is. I want to define lean and define shredded. It's very difficult to do because there really is no one size fits all body fat test, right? Everyone has skin calipers, everyone has hydrostatic testing. We've all used the handheld devices at the gym. They all have a pretty big margin of error, but I like to go off pictures. As a coach for physique competitors, I like to focus on what the judges are looking for. So despite what you might say, 3%, 5%, 6%, it doesn't really matter. It matters what they're looking for. So that's what I focus on. So as someone would be lean for me, they'd have a slight definition in the abdominal muscles. They'd have separation in all the major muscle groups. They'd have a nice tight face, right? So you'd be considered lean. And certainly if you go to the beach, you'd look good with your shirt off. You'd feel very confident. That's a lean physique. Shredded goes way past that. Shredded would be closer to that 5 to 4% body fat mark. Now I'll show you some pictures and videos of myself in that state. I also am coaching one of my friends, Steven. I'll show you some pictures and videos of Steven here. He's about a week out, so he's in that shredded state where he's close to 5% body fat. This is a position that is much different. Now, it's quite visually stunning. It's quite visually different. And if you've never actually been that lean, you really don't understand what the differences are. Because the first time I dieted down and got to 10% body fat, I thought, wow, I can't get any leaner than this. I look as good as I can look. And then I had to diet for another 10 to 12 weeks before I got on a bodybuilding stage. So let's talk about the first thing first, which is time. The biggest difference between the people that get lean and the people that get shredded is they just stick with the process for a lot longer, okay? Body fat comes off at a certain rate. And if you try to rush the process of fat loss, you're gonna end up with potentially eating disorders, hormonal issues. You might even end up losing muscle mass, because if you're dropping your calories and increasing your cardio so that cardio deficit is so big that you're losing lots of weight every week, you're gonna eat into that lean body mass. Research shows this. As a prep coach, as a physique athlete myself, I've tried it both ways. Believe me, you wanna take your time. That's where most people fail. They get in a rush to get shredded, and thus they end up ending the process because they are unable to handle continuing. So we're gonna talk about the process of non-linear fat loss, meaning you're not always focusing on fat loss, even though long-term you are. Calories, how low do they have to get? Now this is a very individual thing. I'm gonna give you guys a number that's gonna allow you to go, oh, I think I'm in a good spot. Okay, so let's take your body weight, and I'm in America, so I'm gonna talk in pounds. I'm 220 pounds. When my calories get below 10 times my body weight, meaning when my calories get below 2,200, well, I'm usually down to about 200 pounds by then, close to my stage weight, but when my calories get to about 2,000, that's when I know they're low. Do they sometimes go below 10 times my body weight? Absolutely. Because when you're trying to get shredded, you have to stop paying attention to what everyone else is saying and doing. Sometimes you have to do some things that are unconventional. If you want to look like someone that has shredded, you're going to have to do things that other people aren't willing to do, okay? Sometimes that involves low calories, but I'm going to explain how we can do that in a safer manner. What about cardio? How high cardio has to get? How much cardio? I've done videos in the past. In the past, I've done lots of cardio, different modalities, right? I've done high intensity cardio, low intensity cardio. The last time I dieted down for a competition, I'll put some videos and pictures in here. I only did incline walking, okay? I started with walking outside 30 minutes a day. By the end of prep, there were some days when I was doing 60 minutes in the morning and 60 minutes in the evening walking. Walking, guys. It's not that hard. Now, the real difficulty is the time commitment. So what do? I put a treadmill in my house, right? If it's important to you, you're going to make it happen. If it's important to you to get shredded, you will find ways. If it's not that important to you, you will start to make excuses and you'll say, I'm okay with being just lean, and there's nothing wrong with that. So the last thing I put on here is your reason. People that get shredded tend to do a few things. The major one is compete in a physique competition, right? That was the first time I ever got shredded, okay? The year was 2008. I hired a coach and I got way leaner than I'd ever been in the past. And I've gotten leaner than that. But that first initial time I dieted down, I can tell you, if I hadn't sent in a piece of paper that said I was gonna get on a bodybuilding stage in some tiny posing trunks, I wouldn't have had the willpower to suffer those low days. I wouldn't have had the willpower to say no to my friends that wanted to go out drinking. And I wouldn't have had the willpower to just plan my meals out. And I learned a lot of valuable lessons through that process. And I talk about this all the time, guys, when I'm talking about my transformation challenge that we run. It changed me forever for the better. By putting my priorities first, which were temporary in nature, right? I dieted down, I did that 6-month prep. Guess what? The food was still there when I was done. Guess what? I didn't have to do as much cardio when I was done. But learning to handle that process, learning to get actually shredded and get on stage, it wouldn't have happened if I didn't have a goal. So what are some goals you can set? Obviously, competition is the one that's nearest and dearest to my heart, but I've seen many people set goals such as weddings. Call it shredding for the wedding. Photo shoots. Perhaps you are a fitness influencer. You want to build a fitness business. What's a better business card than showing that you know how to do it yourself? That can be very motivating. Set a date. If there's not a date or a deadline for you to reach shredded, you will never get there, because there are going to be so many roadblocks. You're going to have low energy. You're going to have to deal with hunger. You're going to have to say no to going out to eat with your friends and family. You're going to have to say yes to preparing all your meals in advance, to planning your diet, and to adjusting throughout the process. And you're going to get fatigued. But I promise you, you can go through it. You just have to have a reason that outweighs that fatigue. Now, I talked a little bit about non-linear dieting. What do I mean by that? Although we're going to get to some periods where calories are very low and cardio is very high, the crazy people that do this, I enjoy it. I look forward to the grind, okay? There are days, weeks where I kind of grind myself down, but I also take weeks where I take a diet break. I bring calories up, I drop cardio down, I focus on maintaining my weight, and I feel better, I look better, my digestion improves, my sleep improves, my mood improves, okay? Every aspect of your life improves, but what typically happens when someone's getting shredded, they just want to get there faster. I promise you, if you look up my videos on diet breaks, on refeeds, and understand that you don't need to diet in a linear fashion, meaning all the way through to get shredded, if you along the way take a couple breaks, if you're not familiar with the Matador study, I've discussed that. I apply a lot of that to my competitors, and they get on stage looking better, feeling better, and they do better after the diet. Can you maintain shredded? Absolutely. It's just going to take a little bit of work. It's very hard to get body fat off. It's not nearly as hard to keep it off, okay? You might have to grind through some tough days, but once the body fat is off, you can bring calories up and drop cardio down and maintain that low body fat. But what typically happens when people get shredded, they say screw it, and they go right back to their previous habits, okay? That happens all the time. The date is over, you did it in an unsustainable manner, and you don't want to sustain what you were doing to get shredded. Therefore, you have to put the body fat back on quickly. So hopefully this helps, answers your questions. If you like this type of content, please subscribe and send me some questions on Instagram. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.